Alright, so what we have to do now in our tutorial is we need to make sure that these enemy ships spawn randomly from just outside the screen. Right now we've set up the enemy ship right here just to kind of test the speed and make sure that it's firing. Now let's go ahead and make the enemy ship spawn outside the screen and come into the screen. So to do that, let's go ahead and go back to your initial scene, and we need to create some sort of actor for which it to spawn from. All right, we can't just set these up right here and say spawn. We need to create, think of like a cannon, and then you have the cannonball shooting outside out of the cannon. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the plus sign, and let's rename that spawn enemy ship. Okay. Now I'm going to color that in, double click on that, and you can go on the color, and I'm just going to color it in a different color other than white. And from here, what we're going to do is let's go ahead and drag this spawn actor. Let's go ahead and drag it in, and we're going to place, let's just do 3 for now. We're going to place them. There we go. And maybe we'll add 1 up here, but let's angle it so that the enemy ship comes down at an angle. Okay, so these are our 4 points in which the enemy ship is going to be spawned from. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to make sure that this is spawned accordingly. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back, and the first thing we need to do is we want to make sure that these enemy ships are spawned at random times, not like every 2 seconds or every 3 seconds, because that becomes a little bit predictable. So we want to randomize the time of the spawn. So to do that, the first thing we need to do is we need to add an attribute, and we need to click on the plus sign, make sure that it's an integer, and click choose. And what we're going to rename this by double clicking, just rename it random time. Okay, and from here, let's go ahead and go back to actors. Let's click spawn enemy ship. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to your library, and let's go to timer. And we're going to drag timer in, and we're going to do, let's say, every 2 seconds. So every 2 seconds, we want to change the attribute. So drag change the attribute. And this is the first time you're doing this. Don't worry about it being foreign. It might sound kind of weird and look weird, but the more we do this, the more comfortable you'll get with it. So just stay with me. So every 2 seconds, what we're going to do is we're going to click right here, and we're going to go to game and the random time, the attribute that we just created. And every 2 seconds, what do we want this to do? We want to enter in some sort of value range in which it's going to change the time. So click right here, and let's go to, actually let's click right here and go to random. And then it asks for the minimum, maximum, and we'll just do between 1 and 10. Let's just do 1 and 10 for now. Okay, so what this is saying is every 2 seconds, the spawn enemy ship actor, it's going to choose a number between 1 and 10 every 2 seconds. Okay, you're like, okay, well that's great, but it's still not going to do, it's still not spawning actors. Well, from here, we can go to spawn actor now, and spawn actor, and we can choose the enemy. Okay, and now let's take a look. So what this is saying is, actually this is wrong. What we need to do is we actually need to create a rule for it. Create a rule, and then click right here and go to numeric expression. And what we want is when the game random time attribute, when that equals 5 or 6 or whatever, I'm just saying 5. So when the random timer is 5, and remember every 2 seconds it's selecting a random number between 1 and 10. So each time it selects, each time this hits 5, what do we want it to do? We want it to spawn an actor. So we're going to click right here, spawn an actor, and we want the enemy ship. Okay? Or enemy, sorry. And now let's go ahead and test this out and see how it looks. So we're coming along, and that's the original one that we put right here, and we'll delete it later. But let's see if they're randomly spawned. And right now this is taking way too much time. We'll see if they get spawned. And right now, let's see. We'll probably do some troubleshooting because, oh yeah, here they are. So there's one that spawned. Great. Here's some more that spawned. So this is way too slow. I mean, this is way too easy. So let's go back, and instead of every 2 seconds, that's making it the interval between spawn times way too slow. Let's do 0.6 seconds. Okay. This way, hopefully they'll spawn a little bit faster. Here you go. And, or not faster, but just more frequent. And now they're getting spawned at different times. Great. And they should continue to spawn. There we go. Great. Now we have them randomly spawning. Now what we need to do in the next video is to add the collision events with the laser so that when I shoot the enemy ships, they're destroyed.